This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit the Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Oh, dude, you know what I did the other day? So at Thanksgiving, I went home and I was playing one of my family members, and we were playing Scrabble. And, dude, she was, it got to the point where, she was doing play-by-play scorekeeping. She's like, "You're ahead by 3 points. Oh, now I'm ahead by 5." And I'm like, can we just do this at the end? So she got up to use the bathroom, and of course, that's when I put all my tiles that had like Q, W, X, all my bad letters, and I reached in the bag and I started grabbing S's and E's and blank tiles. But I don't even care. I tweeted about it as a joke, and then and we kept playing, and then my wife goes, "Oh, Darren's cheating at Scrabble," and then she goes, "How do you know?" She goes, "He just tweeted about it." Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. The Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite.
Who wants a Christmas bonus? Who wants a Christmas bonus? You get a Christmas bonus. That's right, a Christmas bonus of the Pocket Party Podcast. Guys, I want to thank you guys by showing you my gratitude toward you of listening to this podcast since its inception. I'm going to be putting out extra episodes this holiday season. So thank you so much. And in favor, please do me a favor, spread the word, spread the cheer. Spread it on your social media. Take this link and blast it out. Let people know that you like this episode, that you like this podcast. And go to DarrenCarter.com. Hit support the podcast. Hit that button and do a little donation to us, all right? Big shout out to MF. MF is a monthly donator, and we appreciate that. Everybody that's donated and spread the word, I really do appreciate you, and with much love. Now, you know what? Let's start that Christmas party in your ear holes. Buzzed driving is drunk driving, and if you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Did you know over 10,000 people lost their lives due to impaired driving fatalities in 2017? If you're having a night out and you find yourself wanting to splash water on your face, bingo, that's a buzzed sign. And if you spot a buzzed sign on yourself, call a cab, a car, or a friend when it's time to go home. Just don't drive home. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Pocket Party.
Here we go. Buddy of mine, I've known him for a long time. It's so funny because behind the scenes, I'm like, okay, let me get it down. Happy Feet 1 and 2, Happy Feet 2, Mad TV. I already know this stuff, but it's like when it comes to like broadcasting it, you don't want to mess it up,
Yep.
This is my buddy Johnny Sanchez. Johnny, how are you?
Hey, Darren Cartier. That's what I call him. I've been calling him that for, 20 years. I don't know why, but way back, I just used to leave him a message, and I'd always go, Darren Cartier, for some reason. Anyway, I am good. Thank you. Yeah, we know each other well enough that it's like credits are great, but I think the main thing is, probably the amount of shows we've done together, which would probably be a little more astounding than anybody's credits. Because at this point, you figure we've probably known each other right around 4 years, 22, 20, somewhere between 22 and 24, I would imagine. Oh, well, I saw you for the first time at that Gotham room.
Johnny, I tell my listeners I've been doing comedy for 6 years.
You know what's so funny? You're so funny because as I was saying that, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. Knowing Darren, he's like, I don't really talk about that. I don't really talk about the years anymore. It's so funny. I remember years ago, there was another comic, we know him, and he would say that comics stop giving the years after 15.
I know.
Because if you're still doing things at 15 and whatever, but if you get to over 20, some people react weird to that. You know what I mean? Like they'll just be like you ever go on the road and then you're meeting some comic for the first time. You're like, so how long have you been doing it? And if you say something like, oh yeah, man, 23, 24, 20, really?
I've never heard of you until now.
Exactly. I've never heard of you. Wait. So what happened? Oh, get out of the green room. Get out of here.
They're like looking at you like a cautionary tale. They're like, what did you do? Because I don't want to mess up. Like, what did you do?
Yeah. It's almost like they start asking the questions of the what not to do's, right?
Yeah.
Not the to do's. Well, what happened? Well, I went through this and went through that. Oh, and they're just like writing it down going, okay. But it is weird, man, because everybody, but then again, at the same time, everybody is one booking, one show away from literally instant success and fame and whatever. I mean, we saw that with, how long Tiffany Haddish went at it. And then, she got the little sitcom, and then she got that breakout role, and then it just changes everything, changes the trajectory. So, but anyway, that was funny. I had a feeling you were going to say something. I
know. You're like, I've known Darren. Dude, I remember somebody goes, how long have you been doing it? And I go, I'd be like, I started in 1990. And then they're like, damn, I wasn't born until 2001.
Oh.
Or whatever, and you're like, you could be like, or you could just be like, I mean, I did do the Tonight Show in the early 2000s, but I really wasn't taking it serious until 2015.
Well, what's funny about that too? I remember this is a few years back, but I was at the Ice House, and some young kid came into the
call from Brian Swinehart.
Dude, man, I watched your Comedy Central special, which came out in 2001. Okay. He's like, I watched your Comedy Central special, dude. I watched it so many times. I can't, oh my God. I was like 8. I go, what? And then he's like, yeah, man, I'm 20, he was like 23, 24 or something. And he's doing comedy, and we shared the stage. He's like, I just can't believe, can we get a photo? Because I can't tell you how many times I watched it. As a kid, man, you inspired me. And it's a big compliment, you know what I mean? It is great. But at the same time, we're counting, I'm counting the years. To him, it's like, hey, he's meeting somebody that inspired me to do stand-up. But to me, I'm like, okay, you were 8, now you're 20.
Yeah, dude, somebody told me, or how about this? You ever have like a grown-ass man with creases in his forehead from being out in the sun? He's like, I grew up watching you. And you're like, dude, you're like 40. How did you grow up watching me? Like
exactly, dude. It's like, but it just it goes by so quickly. I think, I do remember at least taking Argus Hamilton's advice a little bit early on when he said, look, you're only young and hot in Hollywood once. That's only going to happen once as far as young and hot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, with being popular, having heat, not looks or anything. And I remember he goes, you don't need to go on the road yet. Stay in town now while you're young, because there's roles for you. They're easier. It's easier. They're all going to want you to come in and audition. They're all going to. And, he was right, man. And, I had a development deal, and I got on some TV things here and there. And then, after a little bit late, when I was in my 30s and whatnot is when I really started hitting the road like hard, you know what I mean? But I did listen to him. He was right, because he goes, you're going to miss out. It goes by so fast that if you go out on the road and you're not out here in LA, he said, before you know it, 10, 12, 13 years go by, and you're not the young kid on the circuit, And he was right, man. I mean, it does go by so fast, right, Darren? How fast does it go by?
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of time going by fast and just the passage of time, I love this. I we were supposed to do a podcast a couple days ago with Brian Holtzman, and something came up, and I just saw the photos on Instagram. It's amazing. Tell people what you and I are from near the hometown. I'm from Fresno. You're from Tulare. Tell us about all that. I love this love story. Happy ending.
Yes, it's great. Yeah. So my mom and dad are today's their 62nd wedding anniversary. They got married this date in 1957, and they had met right around the year. Matter of fact, I called my mom to get I wanted to make sure I got the story and the facts right. She's like, literally, it was a dance in August or September, because they only dated a year. They got married, So it was August, September. There's a dance going on, at the Tulare Memorial Building. And then what's even more interesting. I didn't want to write too much, but my mom it was a Saturday night, and her friend is like, hey, we're going to go to the dance in Tulare, because my mom is from Lindsay. Okay. So she's like, no, my mom really didn't, she's still like that. Not much of going out too much. She was like that when she was young. So she's like, no, I don't feel like it. And plus she was like, I don't fast dance. I don't like the fast dance. And they're like, come on, it's going to be a fun dance. So her friend convinced her to go out that night, dude. So when we were at our family reunion at that same hall just in October, and I had to ask my dad, I go, okay, where were you guys? Where? He goes, oh. She was sitting, all the girls were sitting on chairs up against the wall over here. He goes, and most of the guys were over here standing because we wanted to dance, and the girls would sit, the guys would stand, and then walk over. And he said, and my dad literally reenacted it, Darren. He goes, I was right here. He goes, my friends were right here. They were all right. He was with a bunch of his buddies. And he said he turned around and he saw my mom. Now, he didn't know her because she was from Lindsay. And, being in a small town like Tulare, they all kind of knew all the girls because they went to school together and they grew up. So I said, my dad said he turned around and go, oh, man, who's that? And they were all like, I don't know who that is. So my dad was a very popular dancer in the 50s. He used to get in competitions. He would dance with his sisters. They would win. He was this really, really popular guy.
Your dad was. I remember you seeing some photos. Not to interrupt, but he was I believe he was I knew he was in the military, and he used to be a boxer. He's in shape. Was he in any of the wars?
He served. He got drafted for Korea in 1958. Now the war was already over, but there was always conflicts going on. So he did a tour of a little over 14 months in Korea. But that was in 1958 after they had gotten married. Oh. So my mom was pregnant, and my dad was already. He was like, man, I was already 23 years old. Like they normally draft the 18-year-olds. He's like, what am I doing here? And so he wasn't there for my sister's, my oldest, the first child. He was overseas when she was born. Yeah. Okay.
So he's good at fast dancing. He sees your mom.
Yeah, right. Sorry. So he was very popular with the dance. So fast dance comes on. He walks over, and I always thought this was the funniest thing because I still keep trying to picture it, but he goes on my mom. He's like, hey, you want to dance? And he had his hand out, and he was already starting to walk, like he was already leaning going towards the dance floor because a lot of the girls knew he could dance and they wanted to dance with him. So he starts to, he's assuming and he's kind of leaning away, and then he just hears, no thanks. And then he said he turned on. He goes, what? She goes, my mom goes, no, I don't want to dance. And then my dad goes, really? And then she said, yeah, I don't like to, she explained, she goes, I don't fast dance. I don't like, oh, okay. Well, his friends are all standing over there waiting, right? Because now they see that she said no. So they're waiting. They can't wait for him to come back so they can make fun of him. I mean, literally like out of a movie. So he decides to sit next to her. He's like, I'm not walking back over there. So he sits down and they start talking, and they talk more fast songs. So they sit for about 3, 4, 5 fast songs, and they kind of, they're getting to know each other. And then a slow song comes on, and that's when Meg goes, well, you want to dance to this one? And then my mom goes, yeah, because she told me, she goes, once we started talking, I could tell he was nice, and he was being courteous, and so they got up, and that was the first time they had, they danced, and then That was in 1956. So here we are at the family reunion, which is 63 years later, because they date. That was when they met.
Do you have any idea what slow song it was?
Oh.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
Oh, I would. I feel like I asked my mom, and I don't think she remembered. But the song they danced to at the reunion was "Over the Mountain." There was a 50s song called "Over the Mountains Across the Sea" because that was one that reminded her of my dad because he had gone overseas or whatever. Oh. So they typically always dance to that song. That's what my mom wants to. Now that night, I don't know. That's a great question. I'm gonna have to find out. I'm pretty sure I feel like we asked and she can't remember what the song was. So at the reunion, this is almost 63 years to the month that they had actually met each other, and they go out and they dance on the same floor, the same hall from 63 years.
Wow.
Earlier. So, it was just great.
There must not have been a dry eye in the house.
Oh man, everybody was videotaping it, and then it just by chance, I had been there a couple months before, and I had to take my dad to Lindsay for something, and that's when I asked him about that burger stand, which they went on a double date, right? Because the friends set him up. So, and my mom didn't want to go by herself anyway, so her friend went with my dad's friend, something like that, and. I remember my dad telling me, he goes, yeah, it's Bob's Burgers in Lindsay. And then my mom goes, it's still open. And so when I went and took my dad a few months ago, I said, hey, where's that burger? There it is, right over there. And so I took photos of it, which I posted. And then I went in there. I had to eat in there, right? I went in there and it's new owners. They weren't around back then, but I introduced him to my dad. I said he was here in 1956 when he met my mom on their first double date. And so I posted the pics of the Bob's Drive-In. So I trust me, man, I wanted to post that after the family reunion. Like I just wanted to, but I said, no, I need to wait till December and then post the story and them being at the same place. You know what I mean? Like I held off because I just felt like it was a better moment to show everybody, but this is so funny about my mom, dude. I had to call. I said, I better not post unless I ask her. So I told her, I'm going to post a couple pics. I go, but here is the main question, because I have the video of them slow dancing. And I watched it and I loved it. But I was like, oh, my mom. I go, so do you want me, can I post the video? Or do you want me to take a snapshot? I can take a photo of it and just show you guys dancing. And she, of course, my mom, dude, same as 1956, probably. No. Don't, not the video. Not the video. Just do a picture. It's like, oh, okay. So I wanted the video in there, but she's very private but she allowed me to tell the story. She was like, yeah, I'm okay with the, with the story and everything like that. So,
that's great.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's a long time, 4 kids, 9 grandchildren, I think. And then now I think they just had their
that's awesome. What do you think the key is to a long relationship like that? When you see something with your parents, do you see something that maybe people, what do you see something there that maybe people could take and learn from?
Well, I would say this was the interesting thing about because it was so different back then. But, my dad's thing was you stay at home and raise the kids and I'm going to work. So my dad was always working extra and sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes side jobs on the weekends, just so that my mom didn't work. Okay, now I don't know if that makes any difference. It's a different generation, but he spent a lot of years, man, a lot of hours every day. We would see him, just like dinner time. Early in the morning, he always had labor job, factories, and he worked in construction and he pool plastering and all that stuff. So he really worked hard, but but it's funny you say that because when he sort of said to himself, I'm not going to work anymore. And he was already in his 70s when he stopped working. Like he kept going for a long time. And then I remember he actually said, he goes, yeah, man, your mom and I were bickering a lot. And then it's because they finally had a lot of time together. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like he was around the house and she was, just because it was her house as far as like everything. She does the cleaning and she puts everything where it's supposed to go. And my dad just kind of leaves stuff out. It was little things like that.
It's like when you're in a crowded restaurant, you got to be like behind you on the corner, coming around, and all of a sudden she's like, "Wow, you're always in the way." So it's So I think a big tip that I tell people is give each other space. You got to kind of I mean, how many times do you hear about bands breaking up because bands just, no matter how much money they just can't get along?
And they're in close quarters. These guys are rehearsing, a few times a week in a small little space. And after a while, why'd you do that? Why'd you hit that note? I thought we weren't doing that anymore, dude. You know what your problem is, man? They just, all of a sudden it just blows up, So, but I feel like that thing where, that's rare nowadays, dude. In this generation, this day and age, for a mom to stay home and raise the kids. I think
what you said is great, though. It's like the way the kids know they're loved, they're taken care of, they're not pawned off to some stranger babysitting them. I mean, I know people are in predicaments, but it's
of course, some people they have to do it. And in the modern day, it's sort of that way anyway. But I think on a more loving kind of thing. I feel like they were just a good match because it's almost like they came from the same upbringing. They came from two big, poor families. Big family. My mom, there was 8. My dad, there was 13. Okay. So I think they related a lot I think their upbringing is very, very similar. And I just think they appreciated each other and the American dream. I mean, it's kind of like, they always, it's a small town area. So, houses are definitely affordable or whatever, but still, they always had the house and they always had things and just hard work. But I think it was kind of the relating to each other's similar families, I think is what, I feel like that they have this interesting kind of bond. Like they're so similar in many ways, which is real interesting.
What was Christmas like growing up in the Valley in Tulare?
Well, what's great, what I miss, and this is why I love going up there. It always gets as we said, you being from Fresno, the big city boy over here, and me being from Tulare. So, but that stretch on the 99 and it gets really cold in the valley. People probably don't realize this. I mean, it gets to freezing temperatures and stuff in the, not snowing and everything, but it gets really, really ice cold out there.
It gets ice cold. It gets foggy. And the farmers have to have those big fans that blow on the oranges so they don't freeze over.
I was just going to mention, when I say freezing and when I think of freezing, I immediately think of the citrus industry and the oranges and lemons and limes, because when it gets too cold, I always just feel bad for those farmers. Like you said, they're putting fans, they're watering them down, they're trying to keep the frost off of them. They lose their crop, and people don't realize how cold it gets. And the fog is so heavy and thick. But one of my favorite stories it was kind of a foggy night, and it's not even coming from, it's my sister and my cousin. And my sister went down the road to my cousin's house. And I mean, they swear to this day, Darren, they were walking outside or walking back into and it was semi-foggy. It wasn't like super bad, but it was, and they heard some jingling and some bells, and they looked up, and they swear to this day, they go, we think we still are convinced it was Santa because they were around 13 at the time. Okay. 13, 14. And they said they just saw a light up. I don't know if someone had a balloon and was playing a trick. I mean, I don't know what it was. To this day, I'll still ask my cousin when whenever I see them at a get together, I'll go, all right, let's talk about the Santa thing. And her and my cousin will, my sister Liz and her will both go, I'm telling you, we didn't exactly see him, but we know it was Santa. It was reindeers. But what a great, the Valley for me was, that was back when everybody had fireplaces, you know what I mean? Like real fireplaces, not these little warming things, but, we're throwing logs of wood in and, watching it pop and burn and all that stuff. But I kind of miss the, the excitement of the toys and, I haven't, well, you've gone through this with your son and my daughter's 8. How old is Austin?
Austin is 12 years old.
Okay. Yes. God, he recently just like stretched. You could just see it.
Yeah. He looks at, it's funny. Stretch is the perfect word because he looks long. You see him, it looks like he's thin, but stretched. Like
it's weird because I saw one video. It's like you see a video one day and then you catch up on another one a couple weeks later or whatever. And you're just like, whoa, when did this spurt happen? I mean, it literally happens over days. You know what I mean? I think it was the photo when he was performing, that when he played the piano, when he played Neil Sedaka. There's a photo, I think that's the one where he was on stage or something. And I just was like, whoa, he just hit that stretch, man. You could just see it. So, but, as you know, growing up in this era, as opposed to the toys and games and stuff that we had, you and I are from the era where arcades first with video games, and then remember Atari came around, and that was the biggest thing. We didn't have one, but had some friends. I was always going to other people's places for stuff. I don't know about you, but
for that we got lucky. I got the Atari 2600, and I remember playing Space Invaders and like
Space Invaders.
It was the best. Like at home to be able to play video games. I was in junior high, but I got to be honest, that's pretty much where video games ended with me. After that, I'm not really into the modern video games. I don't know about you.
No. I only play when I go to arcades. I play Galaga, and I play Defender and Centipede, and I play all the ones from the 80s is what I stick to. But that was a big deal. But the funny thing is when you look back at those, was always funny how we would hit the. Remember, we would hit the shooting button really fast, but it would only really go.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. It's like we should have just held it down. I don't know why we did the fast hitting, but video games. I feel like I just happened to see something recently, even for the girls. I was walking, but I was at a Walmart looking for something for my daughter in South Carolina, and I saw this new super high-tech easy bake oven.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you should see these things now. It's like a crock pot. It's like a pressure cooker or something. I mean, it's nothing like what those girls, tried to make.
Do you think it actually works, or it's still pretend?
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
Well, weren't the original ones you could actually make a little cake?
Oh man, I don't remember. I just remember the name of it, Easy Bake Oven. I don't know what it actually did.
I think you could put some stuff in there, and that. But I don't know. It was like a little bulb in there. It was just a bulb. Maybe it was fake, but these it looks like you can actually make something. You can actually.
Dude, our games were lame when you look back. Like hey, look at Light Bright. Remember Light Bright?
Do I remember Light Bright? Let me tell you something. That's one of those. Some of those ones that you never got.
Yeah.
Okay. So for some reason, and this was the only reason why I wanted Light Bright, I was a big fan of Kiss at the time. And Kiss, when they would spell their name, it was with those lights, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I wanted it for. That's the only reason I wanted Light Bright, was to be able to spell Kiss and then, keep it like that in my room. And my mom never got me that one. There was another one. I don't know if you're going to remember this one. Remember Shoots Away?
Oh, I do remember Shoots Away.
Shoots Away. You like drop little things down. It's kind of like a little plane or a helicopter. I can't remember exactly what it was. And the bottom thing rotated, and you're supposed to like hit a release button, and then it drops on the. And she never got me the Shoots Away. Isn't that weird when you would ask for things and didn't get them?
Dude, I know you make a Christmas list because I used to love getting the Sears catalog, the Wish book, and I just sit there and dream about the one that I always wanted, and I never got a green machine. It's like the big wheel, but I wanted the green machine.
It's so funny because everybody wanted a green machine, and I was totally happy with the big wheel. Whenever I rode somebody's green machine, I didn't like the moving the levers back and forth.
Oh, see, I think it's because I got to ride one once, and I'm like, this is way better.
Oh, wow.
But you like the big wheel. The big wheel didn't have a lot of traction. It would slip.
Yeah, that's true. You were sliding around a lot. But I also ended up with that one. It was the brand new series at the time that had the brake on the right-hand side that you pulled on. So you would go, and then you would pull on that brake, and then you would spin because that one tire wasn't rotating anymore. And so it would put you in a spin. But everybody wanted the green machine, and I remember I was like, I'm cool with my big wheel for some weird reason. But I mean, things were. I think the other thing that's kind of that strikes me as a little odd, not odd, but just I feel for the kids is when we had our Hot Wheels and all of our cars and all that stuff. We made all the sound effects. You know what I mean? Like. Yep. We were the ones, you go, vroom, or if it was a motorcycle that we had, we were the ones on, well, you love motorcycles. Think about it. There's the toys now, the sound effects are on them.
Oh, so it's interesting. Yeah.
So there's, they have the siren already. They have the engine, the noise of the motor. So I feel like I notice kids the only reason why my daughter makes sound effects is because I do them. So she'll do something sometimes, but for the most part, I'm watching kids play with their toys, and they're not being as creative because it's doing it for them.
Yeah, and I think like now, I don't even know if there are toys. Like most of the toys now are all like Bluetooth and like apps on your. Hey kids, get this new for your iPad. It's an app that does this game, and then it's not like back in our day, brick and mortar stores. You'd walk into Toys R Us or Arthur's Toy Store, and you'd pick up a metal. It was made of metal and it had some heaviness to it. And you're like, this is a real thing. Like a real fire truck that was heavy and it had it was great. It was a big fire truck and that was exciting.
You made me before you just said fire truck. I was about to tell you. How about those yellow dump trucks that were made out of solid metal? And after a while, you put your knee in the back of the bed and then you could just like push it, you know what I mean, with your knee in the back or whatever.
Yeah.
But they lasted forever. They were solid metal. I mean, now they're plastic and it's just the quality. But one of my favorite games, and we weren't real big board game people. We had a Monopoly like everybody else and stuff, but we did. I remember I got a Battleship, right? This was before even the electronic.
Remember that? You sunk my Battleship, game?
You sunk my Battleship, yeah. So what I would do when I would play with my one sister, because her and I fought a lot. She's the one that's just the next one above me. So I just had to beat her. Like that was everything. So I would, you know what I would do? Remember the little tugboat?
Oh yeah, the one that's it only takes two pegs.
It takes two. Well, I would hold that in my hand. So she would say, and I remember even one time she's like, E12 miss and F. She's like, do you have all of them on there? I go, yeah, of course I do. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I would end up winning. And then before she would look at it, I would put the tugboat somewhere where it fit, where there were, two little prongs, so it could fit in the.
Oh, dude! You know what I did the other day was at Thanksgiving I went home and I was playing one of my family members and we were playing Scrabble and dude, she was it got to the point where. She was doing play-by-play scorekeeping. She's like, "You're ahead by 3 points. Oh, now I'm ahead by 5." And I'm like, can we just do this at the end? So she got up to use the bathroom, and of course, That's when I put all my tiles that had like Q, W, X, like, all my bad letters.
Yeah.
And I reached in the bag and I started grabbing S's and E's and blank tiles. But I don't even care. I tweeted about it as a joke. And then, and we kept playing. And then my wife goes, "Oh, Darren's cheating at Scrabble." And then she goes, "How do you know?" She goes, "He just tweeted about it." Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is see, we didn't do a lot of scrap. You know what's really weird? I'm a good speller too. I don't know why. I don't know why we didn't have Scrabble. We just did. It was mainly Monopoly, Battleship, and
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
God, what other, we didn't do, I always wanted Stratego. There was a board game like Strategy or Stratego.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Stratego. I remember that. How about Connect 4? I'm a big Connect 4 guy. I love it.
Oh, okay. Connect 4. We used to play a little bit of Connect 4. Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun one. That's still fun. By the way, they have that game. I don't know if they have it at night time, but during the day, if you're at the Den, we went there on a Sunday one day and they had board games out.
Oh,
and
cool.
They had Connect 4, so I was playing with my friends, and I were having drinks and playing Connect 4.
Yeah, I remember I walked behind the Laugh Factory one night. This is like years ago, and there was some guys that do the valet for the not Jerry's, not for Greenblatt's, but there was a nightclub over there, and
oh yeah.
And the guy goes, "Hey, Connect 4." He goes, "Let's play $1 a game. I'll bet you." And I think I lost like $11 because I was like, "I must win." And then, but it was super fun. And then, of course, like I bought the Connect 4 game. I bought that after that, and I go, I'm gonna start practicing. And I got pretty good at it. And by the time I got good at it, I went back and the nightclub had closed and the guy was gone.
Dude, that's so funny. It's almost like you were like Rocky 2. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm back. Anybody want to fight?
Yeah. All this training, and then they closed. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a revenge game. That would have been great. But yeah, man. But I do notice that my daughter. It's the things talk, and even those Hatchimals, where it's the big egg and the little stuffed animal eventually hatches.
Yeah.
But you have to keep rubbing it. You have to keep it. You got to put some blankets. It's really trippy, and then little by little, and we're talking over hours. It takes hours for those things to hatch, and then it just cracks, and then it pops out, and then it starts talking, and I'm just like,
is it cool or boring? Because I don't know if I have the patience for that.
Well, she was getting frustrated, definitely. Yeah. And we're like, oh man, how much longer? And it says to just keep rubbing it and holding it, and you could feel it, like it would vibrate a little bit, and you're like, oh, something happens, and then you get one little tiny crack, and you'd have to wait. So
oh my gosh, that's like me trying to get Wi-Fi. I get frustrated, You ever have like bad service? You're like, come on, and you're like, and the computer won't connect. That's just. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these things they're a little much. Where I'm just, but she did say for Christmas she wanted to go back to basic that American Girl doll that are real popular. So at least she's gonna go to like the basic. Although those things are crazy expensive, it's ridiculous. I'm like, let's just get you some more Barbies. Like you don't need, you know what I mean? Yeah. But oh well, what are you gonna?
What about marbles? Did you like marbles when you were a kid?
I did, man. I remember I remember going to school with a pocket full of marbles.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. Marbles was huge in the 1920s, and it was popular up until I want to say till like the 80s. Because I brought up marbles to a millennial comedian, and he's like, "Dude, how old are you?" But I'm like, I thought it was, and I looked it up, and I realized like. It had a resurgence when you and I were growing up, like
right,
yeah, marbles,
yeah.
Steelies
Yeah, because
and boulders and all that.
yeah, the Steelies were awesome. The boulders, and then the cat eyes.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
There was the tiger. There was like the tiger one that looked like tiger stripes. What's really weird that you're bringing this up, I was in Walgreens this was literally 3 weeks ago or something. And I'm looking around, looking for, I can't remember why I was out there, and I see a bag of marbles. And then I go, wait, are they still buying these for kids? And then right below that was a bag of army men, just regular old plastic army men like we had growing up. And then, so I took some pictures of it. And then on the other side, they were hanging on this one thing. On the other side was, remember those? They were made out of metal, and they looked like a rocket. And you put a cap in one of them. You put a cap, and you threw it up, and the front, the nose of it was so heavy that it would always land back on it, and then it would pop. Right? They had those there too. No, not Walgreens, CVS, right here across the street from me. And I took pictures of them because I was going to post. So funny. I was going to go, are parents buying these for kids? And what are they doing with those there? There's no way they're selling. They were all there, by the way. There wasn't any missing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe they've been there since the 80s. Dude, what about cap guns? Did you ever get a cap gun and you'd load it up with that red? Yeah. I don't know, that red. The little red. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. There was two different types of caps. There was the paper one. Remember the paper one that kind of went more like? It was like I'm picturing the red that you'd kind of thread it in there, and had like little black gunpowder or whatever, and you'd scratch with your thumbnail, and it would sting, but it would go pa, and it would pop off like with fire. Yeah, you could. That's okay. That's the paper one. We would, after a while, we would say, forget it, and we would just use a nail or something and make the little fire thing. But how about the ones later on that were plastic, that were round, and they fit right in? It was like a cylinder, and it fit right into the little cap gun, and you could shoot off like 8. Wow! Remember those? The little red. They were red plastic, not paper. They weren't the paper one anymore. I think that was like nicer. Like, I don't think I really got a hold of those. Yeah. See, this was the next level. I remember because we were like, oh man, now we could. It was like a revolver. It was like a Colt revolver. So you just stuck it into the little revolving thing, and you just like a little pistol, and you closed it. And then as you shot, it rotated. And so each one went pop, 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 pop. And then we just take out the cartridge. It was way better than the paper. They had moved up. You know what I mean? They had moved. Oh, you know what? Now I think I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. You never got one of those. Yeah. You know what? I got what about a skateboard was a really good gift I got one year. And it had the fins on both sides so you could really pop it up and do some like tricks. Oh, you got one of those. Yeah. I had a little red one that had the thinner wheels first, and then I remember a yellow one with when the wheels got really wide. Remember the big wide wheels? Yeah. Yeah, man. I rode a lot. You know what I realized? I didn't know this. I rode the skateboard wrong all those years. I think I did too. Where did you put your feet? I put my foot in the back. Me too. I put my right foot on the back of the skateboard. Me too. Me too. And then I'd use my left foot, and then I bring up my left foot. Nobody's riding it like that. Nobody. I don't know who told me what to do, because I know it wasn't my dad. My dad had never skateboarded, so I don't know if I just assumed and just started on my own. I think I just taught myself, but I remember all my friends after a while, they're like, "What are you doing? Your foot's supposed to be up towards the front. You push, and then you put your left leg in the back." And I've always seen everybody do it, and I was like, wow, I was doing it wrong that whole time. Man, it's so funny you said that, because I thought of that the other day. I was in my car at a crosswalk, and this guy skated across. And I'm like, that thought came to my head. I'm like, I've never seen anybody do it like I did. And you know what, though? I really wasn't into the tricks. Like, that wasn't something that you know, like some guys love to skate even into their 30s and 40s, and I'm like, I think I stopped skating, and then I did a TV pilot. I think when I was like 30, and I went and I was skating around Burbank, and I hit a rock, and I went flying, and I put my hands out, and I got scraped up, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm not doing this again. No. You know what? It was for some reason with skateboarding.
it just seemed like it took way more effort than like all the pushing. I didn't feel like I would go far enough.
Right.
Like a bike, I still ride a bike to this day. I love bikes, but I remember getting burnt out on the skateboard after I only had two. And I think I must have been, I think by junior high, I was done with the skateboard. Junior high.
I think I was trying to think what's the latest. I think the best invention.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
For as far as like a toy or a tech toy or anything like that, I think would probably be now, like because there was like nothing for a long time, in my opinion. And then when they came out with like cell phones and iPads and iPhones and computers and like to me that's like the best compared to like, you know, everything else is kind of like, and then all of a sudden, bam, you've got music. You can edit video. You can make a camera out of this. You can do.
That's true. It's huge.
I mean, what does it give? Like, imagine if, don't you think that's like probably one of the best gifts? Like as far as a modern, like crazy, wild thing that it can do a million things. I mean, put yourself back at being like 12 or 13, and someone's like, you could have this dump truck, or you could have this device that does all this stuff, and you can ask it questions, and it'll give you answers, and it'll stream any show you ever want.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big leap, dude. The smartphone, like they said, that's one of. I mean, just think where we would all be if they had not come up with that, and we were all just on sort of like regular cell phones.
Yeah.
You know, Blackberries and things. So, I mean, that's just a huge shift. You know what I mean? It just changed everything and I couldn't even imagine growing up as a kid and having all that at the tip of my fingers. You know what I mean?
I know.
So, but yeah, man. I mean,
it's really nice that we did grow up in a time where we didn't have that. Where when, you know, I mean, there is some solitude to when you're like, all right, Mom, I'm going to go out and like come back in when the streetlights come on. Well, now
I know, man. I was thinking about, because, you know, my daughter's, she just is kind of riding her bike now without the training wheels. But of course, you know, it's like, okay, go up the block and back. And, you know, we're, you know, like watching her the whole time. And I was just telling my mom this not long ago, and I was going, wow. Because my mom's always been a worrywart. I was like, Mom, we were riding all the way across town. Now, granted, this was already when we were 12 and, you know, but still 11, 12, 13. It's not like, you know, anything could have happened. And we would be gone all day and we'd go all the way across town into Larry and we'd come back. And my mom was like, yeah, I know. We just didn't choose it, but you guys all went in packs, you know, like there was always 3, 4, 5, 6 of us on bikes together, which is, man, when I look back at that, dude, that was probably, I mean, because the bicycle was the freedom. That was your first taste of freedom. Even going around the block. I remember when my parents were like, all right, yeah, you can go around the block, but just stick around just going around the block and then like stopping. And then my friends and I would like, you know, mess around and joke with each other because our parents couldn't see us from there. Like even that was a big free, it was, liberating, you know what I mean? It was like,
dude, it was great. How about this? When I used to have a bike and I'd go around the neighborhood, and then we had 2 big empty fields by my house that I grew up. So, I mean, looking back, it probably wasn't that big, but as a kid, it was like an adventure. You know, you're out there on those trails in the field.
The trails.
It was amazing.
We about 2 blocks from us was all open fields when we were, you know, living in Tulare at that time. And same thing, dude. Somebody from before, whoever they were, they had made, you know, motorcycle trails and stuff, you know, by riding their bikes back there. And so there we were jumping little dirt mountains. And I mean, it was just so great to be able to be on our own and then, you know, and then just ride back. I remember in 8th grade, I was still riding my bike because I had the school was at least 4 miles away, so I didn't want to walk it. I rode it, and then isn't it funny how one person can get in your head, right? On my 7th grade year, there was I had a backpack that had the Incredible Hulk on there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I remember some kid, I was riding my bike by him, and he's all, you got an Incredible Hulk backpack? You're in 7th grade. You're not a little kid anymore, which is crazy because nowadays everybody wears superhero stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, like 35-year-olds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember I went home, and then the next day my mom's I go, no, I'm just going to I'll just carry him while I ride my bike. And I carried my books because I didn't want to use that backpack again. And then in 8th grade, I was riding my bike at the beginning of the year. And then again, some other kid saw me and he was like, you're riding your bicycle to school, dude? You're in 8th grade, dude. Grow up.
Yeah.
So I stopped riding my bike, dude. And that was like a 3-mile walk.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. So I would walk with my friend. I hated it, especially in summertime, summer or when it's hot in Tulare. We're walking in the heat and walking in the cold, dude. Like,
and the fog and all that.
Yeah. And the fog. And I would have, much rather rode my bike. But, you get to that point where other kids are like.
I remember when we'd use our imagination, like you'd put like baseball cards in the spokes to kind of make that motorcycle noise.
That was the best, man. And you wanted to do, both of them, the front and back tires, if you could.
Yeah.
It made it sound like a Harley. But, dude, that was like, I mean, all that stuff was.
I've tried to find the bike that I got when I was a kid. Like, I can picture it. It was brown and it had a number on it, like but I can't find it. And so I've looked at some of the old Montgomery Ward bikes from that era, Sears, Kmart, because I figure that's probably where they got the bike, but I can't, I've come close to it. Like, it might have been an offshoot of, it probably wasn't Mongoose, but it was probably like a generic brand of Mongoose or whatever. But it was a cool ass bike. I can picture the knobby tires and the seat and the whole thing.
You know what I bought myself one of those. It's a replica of the Sears catalogs. They replicated them. They basically.
Oh, can you send me the bra section, please?
So I think it's called. Well, the name is kind of weird. I don't like the name of the book, but it's
what's it called?
It's called Boys Toys of the. I think it's 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh, that's funny.
So it literally lists. You can go through. I mean, you should see the ones from the 60s, dudes. All these robots, and they're all listed at the price that they were listed. And then it's really cool in the late 70s because all of a sudden you see all this Star Wars merchandise.
Oh yeah.
And I found one of the bikes that was my first bike, which was a Huffy. So one of these days, what we'll do, because I still have that, that catalog, is we should meet up somewhere and I'll let you go through it and you see if you can find your bike.
Oh, that would be cool, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, I was kidding too about the bra section. Do you remember that when you were a kid though, and you look at the Sears catalog?
Yeah.
It was like Playboy for church kids.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. I remember looking at those because they would sometimes have the lady in the bra.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh my God.
But yeah, dude. And then man, we didn't even touch on Hot Wheels
yeah, we'll save that for another podcast. Did you?
We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, I remember. Christmas vacation was always a big deal too. Like, because that was like 2 weeks off. And one year, I remember in 8th grade, I took that 2 weeks and I learned how to do 2 things: ride a unicycle and juggle.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because I remember I would. I might be confusing the unicycle thing. Maybe I'd already done that, but like I remember not giving up on the juggling. I took the socks. I had 3. You took 3 socks from my sock drawer, and I just practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced until I finally got it down.
You know what, man?
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
I still can't do it, Darren.
Really?
I still can't do it, and I have tried, and something is in my brain, and I can do two.
Yeah.
I can do two, no problem. As soon as I get that third one up, and I've had people that juggle show me. It's like, it's real. Look, ready? When you do that, okay, good. Then you go, it's something happens in my brain, dude. The motor skills just will not. My own motor skills won't allow me to do it. And that's one thing I always wanted to learn, dude. And I have tried, and it just doesn't happen. So,
what about whistling? Can you whistle?
Yeah, I can whistle, but I can't do whistle like you, the real loud one.
Because the whistling is another, I think, a life skill. I think that a person should be able to have to where they can, if they need to get someone's attention or they need to, a car's driving by. I used to stop, like if someone drove past me, I could whistle real loud and they'd hear it. And I told you my dad does it, but back then that was how they communicated with each other, in the 50s and everything. They'd whistle from down the street. But my dad does it like you do, but he doesn't need fingers, man. Wow, no, that's next level.
And I was like, and he told me, but see, this is probably the problem is I can do the regular whistling, all that stuff. Yeah. But not the big whistle. So I was like, here, do I do that? He goes, no, you don't need your fingers. And then I said, well, I see everybody else use their fingers. They cup them in like the letter C, or they use two separate pinkies or whatever. And he goes, yeah, but for some reason my dad's thought process was like, he goes, yeah, but what if you're outside working and you got shit all over your hands, and then you got to whistle at your friend and you put shit in your mouth, you got dirty shit in your mouth, and I was like, oh, okay, when is that gonna happen? I'm like, at the time, I'm like 12.
When's that gonna happen?
When is that gonna be happening to me? So he always said, he goes, yeah, a lot of my friends did the fingers, but I learned without, because I didn't want to have to use my hand if they were dirty or whatever. Then again, we're talking about somebody who was always working labor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
he might be, using changing oil and working with pesticides. You're like literally thinking of doo-doo. You're like, I'm at the LA County Fair and I had some goat crap in my hand.
Exactly. He literally was talking about all that right there. Any of that could have gone into his mouth. So he learned how to do it from without. But man, I wish I'd learned that. I think that's really cool, man. And nobody really knows. Men don't know how to do that anymore.
They don't, man. And it's like, that's why I taught my son how to whistle, and he still needs a little work on it, but it's, I told him it's a life skill. You got to have basic dude skills,
Let me ask you this. What does he use? Does he use his two pinkies? Does he use his two index fingers? What does he use?
Right now he's not able to do that. So he's still learning. Yeah.
Oh, but isn't he learning? Isn't he learning with the fingers though? With the fingers, right?
Well, it's funny. I did a video with him. I go and literally he was going like that. I go, dude, you need to do it. What if you have to you're in danger? You got to do it loud. And he goes, and he raised his voice. I'm like, oh, come on.
I'll never forget one of Pablo Francisco's. The only reason why this joke made me laugh is because as a kid, before I learned how to whistle, I used to do this, but he used to impersonate that. He had this Indian character that worked at some store that whistled when he spoke. Yeah, he had a whistle at the end. Remember Pablo's bit? Yeah, and he's like, "Here, let me get this for you." As he's talking, he goes, but then when it was time to whistle, he'd see a girl and he's like, "Ooh, look at that girl. Woo, woo." He went like that. Woo, woo. Yeah. And I always laugh because when I was a kid, I didn't know how to whistle yet. So I would go, woo, woo, at a young girl.
Woo, woo. Yeah.
Woo, woo. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's never too late. I could still probably learn. It's just going to, I don't have the time to do all that, but
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. Christmas vacation when you're a kid, you got time to learn how to whistle. I'm going to learn how to juggle. We got to teach ourselves something. Now we have to learn how to do other things.
You know what? I like that idea. So when my daughter's going to get out here on the 18th. She's out here until January 10th, and I have been wanting. I know she likes magic. I think I'm going to get her a little magic set.
There you go.
And see if she could see if she can learn some magic tricks before she goes back to school, so she can show her. That would be great. I mean, at 8, they have little kits for 8-year-olds, right? Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like little tricks that little kids can do that are sleight of hand and stuff.
Right.
Magic tricks are a great icebreaker. Like, I've hung out with Jimmy Schubert, and people don't know that he knows magic, and then he'll have a like a balloon or whatever that's not blown up. And I don't know, he just does like these jokes out of nowhere, and people are like, "How did you do that?" And it's really interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, I remember this was back when I was single, and I'll never forget this guy. It was back when I used to hang out with John Cardinelli, and he and I would always go to Barney's Beanery. And, we're over there. We're always trying to make girls laugh, And I'll never forget this one night, this dude came, some dude was in there, and he had all these little sleight of hands. He had cards. He had little things. He had those little balls where, they just disappear in your hand. And, dude, he had these girls in the palm of his hand. And I remember thinking, these girls, they loved, they were, you know what I mean? You could just see that they were, that's just, I hate to admit it, but that's how he was picking up girls, dude, because they loved it. They were like, "Oh my God, you are so awesome. Yeah, we got to hang out again, of course." You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just went, "Oh, look at this dude." And think about it. He brought all that with him to the bar.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, and it's just an icebreaker with, in a bar situation or just, it's cool to have little things like that. But Johnny, listen, man, it was great having you on the podcast. And
thanks for the 5-minute podcast.
I know, dude. You and I get going. It goes. Okay. I told Johnny, I go, we'll talk for 5, and I go maybe 10, and here we are, man. This is a full episode. You just had your own episode, buddy.
I think Darren tricked me, guys. I just think Darren. No, I'm kidding.
Once we go down memory lane, man, it's not even a podcast. It's just talking. It's awesome.
It's endless, the amount of stuff we could still talk about. I mean, just because we're from the same era too, as well. I mean, think about TV shows and movies, and I mean, it's endless, dude. So, but anyway.
Do you have any words of wisdom or any special Christmas wishes or holiday wishes for our listeners?
Well, you know what? Today was just thinking about my mom and dad, and even talking to my mom a little bit, like, hey, Mom, I mean, doesn't it just seem like yesterday? And she's like, it just, you don't think 62 years, or 63 when they met, but 62 for wedding. And she's like, you don't think. That just sounds like forever. And yet she goes, it does feel like it's gone by so fast, just zipped by. You know what I mean? And she even said that when people used to talk about, being married for 25 years or 35 years, or, they would all go, "Oh, well, will we even be around?" And I said, did anybody ever bring up the 2000s, back in the 50s? And my mom and dad were like, "Oh, we were like, man, we'll never see those years, and it's going to be crazy, and we're going to be flying in cars." I mean, the imagination back then, we'll be up in space all the time. I mean, you think about the 50s, dude, when they got married in 1957, think about what the mentality was. They hadn't even gone to the moon yet. So, the mindset of everybody was just like, wow, so I would say, just talking to them today, I kind of was just kind of going, man, we all get busy, try to put, especially nowadays, we got to try to put that phone down for a while. I shut it off every now and then. You know what I mean? I actually just turn it off. And because these little moments, man, people are not, they're not taking each moment with their families and appreciating their parents or their kids, which is great. You spend so much time, with your boy, that's just fantastic. Because, it's,
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
You're going to look back. You have all that stuff, dude. You have this whole history, you recorded, everything that you guys can look back on someday, which is fantastic. So now that's different. Having a phone to record, to capture moments, of course, that's fine. I'm talking about people who are sitting there on social media while their family's at the table eating Christmas dinner or something. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I totally agree. I made a conscious decision a few years ago not to do that, man. And I also say you'll never catch me in a crosswalk on my phone. Like people, I say if anyone ever sees me in a crosswalk looking at my phone, I'll give you $5. I mean, I'm kind of cheap.
$5. No, I told people, I said, if there's already been a couple, especially crossing Sunset right here.
No, you know what? I'm going to up the ante. Forget that $5. What should I say? If they catch me in a crosswalk, what's the reward? They get
you don't want to be giving out too much, but just say.
No, dude, I'll never be on my phone. I'll never be on my phone in the crosswalk, so I don't care. If you guys catch me on a crosswalk, on my cell phone, you have permission to run me over.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So get this, man.
Yeah.
I always cross the Sunset right here, across from the Laugh Factory, whatever. And people are not paying attention to pedestrians. And Dan, I'll tell you, there have been at least a handful of occasions, because as I start to cross the street, I'm watching everybody, because some of those people are on their phone while they're driving. So, and I'll tell you right now, if I had been crossing the street the way other people do with the phone in my hand, texting, I would have been hit already 5 times ago.
Wow.
So I don't cross. That's one thing I do. I don't cross the street anymore. I don't text and I don't even text and walk at all. I don't do anything on my phone when I drive now. I just go, I don't really need to talk, and I definitely don't need to be texting or anything like that. So, it's like, just try to, shut the phone off every now and then. You know what I mean?
I like that. I'm going to shut because usually, like during the holidays or whatever, I'll put it in the back bedroom or I just will be away from it. But yeah, why not shut it off?
And you know what else too, by the way? Let me throw this out there since there's people listening. For the parents who go to the park and parks and stuff, I know right now it's winter time, but it's going to, in Southern Cal, you can go to the parks almost all the time. But there, I sit there and I watch. I have to say, statistically, it's more moms than dads, but I'm a numbers guy, so I keep track of this stuff. But the moms get there, and the kids to go start running around and playing, and they're on their. I saw this one mom. She did not look up from her phone for well over an hour. Her daughter started playing with my daughter, and they actually moved to a different section. Okay, they were in one sand little sand playing area with the jungle gym and the slides, and they went over to the other one. This is the one at Balboa Park, okay, which is pretty big. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to wait and see. And it just so happened that I was keeping an eye on them because I put my phone in my pocket when I go to the parks, so I can watch my daughter and I can watch her play, and I can also enjoy watching her play. By the way, okay, so. they were like underneath this thing, so they were even a little hidden. Finally, this mom looks up, and then I could just immediately see her start looking around. You see the panic, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm not exaggerating, Darren, it was somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
Okay, she did not look up from her phone. So she starts to get up. Now she's looking for her daughter over there. You can see her in the bed. I was like, I'm still gonna wait. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could have yelled from across, but I said, no, I'm going to wait. Then she starts walking sort of toward, and I go, hey, your daughter's right here with my daughter. She's like, oh, okay. Oh, hey, what are you doing? Oh, don't do that. Oh, and I wanted to go, no, you don't do that.
Exactly. Well, Johnny, thank you for that heartwarming Christmas story.
No. Yes. Anyway,
no, I'm joking, dude. That's a great lesson.
Just cherish, just enjoy the family and friends, or whoever you're spending it with. Some people aren't going to do it with family, but just whoever's close to you. Just,
you know what? I saw a cartoon years ago, and this is one of the things that really hit home. The cartoon showed, like, let's say 12 or 13 family members around the Thanksgiving table or whatever, and it showed everyone looking at their phone except for grandma, and it said one day you're going to look up from your phone and someone you love isn't going to be there.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good.
So you know what? I swear to you, it's not one of those. It's one of those things, like you said, you want to capture the moment, but like don't just, we know the difference between doing something important and then scrolling, wasting time, and
exactly.
I talked to a buddy the other day. He's like, oh, dude, I got to get off YouTube. I just get there and tee off on everybody in the comments, and I'm like, what are you doing? I go, you're teeing off on them? Are they teeing? He goes, oh, they're teeing off on me. I'm teeing off on them. And I go, that sounds kind of, he goes, I know, dude, it's pathetic. We're grown men on a Sunday just teeing off on each other online.
Oh, man.
What are you guys doing? Let it go. Get outside. Anyways,
Yeah. Anyway, do that. And you have, so for everybody out there, have a great holiday season. Enjoy it, man. And slow it down a little bit. And because before we know it, the New Year's here, and then everybody's back on track with, I got to get busy. Do
you have a favorite Christmas song?
Yeah, it's tough. That's always a tough call for me, but I still have to lean towards Silent Night.
Oh, I love it. But I like so many. I like, when I think Elvis, I think Blue, Blue. Oh,
Blue Christmas, dude. And I also love The Little Drummer Boy. I've always loved that song. But there's so many, but there's something about, you know what it is? Whenever I hear Silent Night, I think that's the song that they would always sing. We would leave our midnight mass when we used to go to midnight mass with my grandmother, and that was always the last song they sang, the choir, as everybody left church on Christmas for Christmas midnight mass. So I think there's something there with it, because when I hear that song, I get flooded with just childhood and my grandmother and the cold in Tulare coming out, and it's freezing, and then we go back and we go to sleep, and we'd wake, and we used to open our gifts after midnight mass, dude. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. See, we would do ours like 8:00 Christmas Eve.
Morning.
No, Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
But now my wife, like, now we do it Christmas Eve, but we do it like 5:30 or 6, because the kids are they're going to be asleep.
Yeah.
But then you always save that one for Christmas Day.
They all go to bed so early. I just feel like, let's see, 12. So is he still going? Is Austin still going to bed at like 9?
Yeah, we give him bedtime. I mean, sometimes we slip past that, and especially during the holidays, a little bit past that. But he's well rested, and he's up at 6:30, sometimes earlier in the morning, sometimes later. But it's great. Yeah. We don't have the video games and all that stuff like out for him. So what he does is he gets up and he starts playing on that piano, and he puts the little headphones in so he doesn't disturb me. So and Mom sometimes if he gets up early and then he goes to his bass, and that way he can look back at his childhood and he's learned an instrument, not just,
That's fantastic, man. Well, listen, I'll see you next week. I'll see you probably next week twice, because I imagine you're going to go to the Laugh Factory Christmas party, right?
Yep, Christmas party, and then...
Okay. Yeah. And then the next day we do the podcast. Yes.
Oh, yeah, we'll do the podcast together. That'll be great. And, dude, thanks for coming on the Pocket Party podcast. And
you got it.
Man, happy holidays to you and your family. Merry Christmas. And what about tamales? Did you guys do the tamales this year?
Yeah. No, we don't. My mom buys them now. My grandmother used to make them years and years ago. But
dude, that's my favorite. I love tamales.
Yeah, tamales are so good. My mom, they get them from these people that make them, and so I know once I get up there I'll probably go Christmas Day, Christmas morning is when we'll probably head up, take my daughter, and it'll be tamales, dude. So I'm eating better now, just so that I can kind of pig out a little bit.
Yeah.
We're all going to put on a few pounds over the holidays. So.
Oh yeah, you can't help it. It's cold, and when there's warm food, it's like you just got to eat it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. All right, Darren. Thanks again, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks, Johnny. Bye.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. Bye.
That was Johnny Sanchez. How great was that, Johnny? Johnny Sanchez. Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Pocket Party Podcast. And thank you for everything. And don't forget to hit that donate button if you want more great shows like this. Go to darrencarter.com And there's a little button there that says support the podcast. And every time you make a donation, it sure does help. And I want to thank MF. He's a monthly donator. MF, you're the man. Thank you, Mr. Flores. Thank you so much. And everybody else who's donated. You guys are the best. And get your jollies.
We're done with this interview.
Yeah, look at you. You made it all the way through on the Christmas episode with Johnny Sanchez. Thank you, Johnny. I feel good now, man. I got to go back and find that bike that I grew up with. Where is it? Oh, man, so many good memories. What a feel-good phone call that was. We have more bonus episodes coming. Let us know what you think. Go to Apple iTunes. Please give this podcast a review. We need one for December. We don't have one for December as of yet, so that would mean a lot to me. And hit that donate button. The more donations we get, the better things will be for this podcast and for you, the listener. So thank you so much. Happy holidays, and we'll talk to you soon. You never know when the next episode's coming out. You never know. I might not wait till Monday or Tuesday. It may be coming sooner than that. So thank you again. Now remember, don't hurt nobody and be careful.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.